There has been another volcanic eruption, this time in the Reventador volcano in northeastern Ecuador, right on the border with Colombia. Now, strangely enough, a few videos ago we talked about how there were all of these mysterious NASA logos near these volcanoes that have all of a sudden come alive. The Galeras in Colombia, then the Fuego up in Nicaragua, and now the Reventador in Ecuador. So it's just a very strange series of occurrences that we've seen, all happening very, very close together, and I'm wondering if it's building towards something. I'm sure a lot of us are wondering that as well. We'll go real quick to Google Earth Pro, and this area here, we're going to zoom out and show that, of course, here is a NASA logo over another volcano very, very close to this. And if we zoom out even farther and go over, there's another one, a volcano here as well. So strangely enough, we see them all over the place. Very recently, the Galeras volcano here in southern Colombia, as I had mentioned. And then, of course, everyone is familiar with the story up out of Nicaragua, the Fuego volcano here. So just very, very odd that we see these NASA logos very, very close and near and around all of these activities. We will keep an eye on this. We'll go to the story real quick and see if we can derive anything. I've read through it. There's not a lot other than ash clouds up to 1,000 meters high. They are keeping very, very close watch on this. The Reventador volcano, 35-60 meters high, one of the most active in the country with Tungurahua, Cotopaxi, and Sangay. Tungurahua is where they had the NASA logo, by the way, in case anybody wants to go look at that. So these are recent pictures. It has gone off, and we will have to keep definitely an eye on this. But, of course, unless you were actually looking for this information specifically, you would not find it in the mainstream media at all. And it's a sad state of affairs when even a volcano going off in our own hemisphere won't make the front page of the news. It's very, very sad. But in another vein, a video that I did back in April has actually kind of come true. This is this channel, April 4th, talking about domestic military investment. This is the 649 mark, and I'm just going to play forward real quick. These people that are coming here that really are just good, decent, honest people looking for... Sorry about that. We do have these abandoned military bases all over the place. We have places where we can temporarily house folks. And we can clean this stuff up. I mean, imagine, okay, let's just go ahead and kick the power back on. Let's get some water run into one of these buildings and say, okay, while you're here, you see all that brush and cover? That's going to be your job. It's called casual duty. We had it in the military all the time. Give these guys a bucket of paint. You know, give them a mop, give them a broom, give them some landscaping equipment, give them, you know, and they can serve purposes, good, decent purposes while they're here. You know, we got chow halls all set up. Wouldn't be that expensive. And we can work together. We can say, okay, yeah, we're not going to just let them come here and disappear. You know, you want to come here and you want to have asylum and you want to have your day in court. Okay, fine. We're going to take you to Fort Ord. And while you're there, you're going to be helping us restore the base. Give them work. Believe me, most of these people got no problem with hard work. You see them. What do when they come here? They work in factories. They work in landscaping. They work in construction. Okay, so that was this channel for April, talking about the migrant issue, that perhaps we should take these folks and put them on abandoned military bases. Now, there is the story that has come out of the Pentagon now that they are actually going to house these folks down at here. This one, he hadn't made the announcement yet. They're talking about Little Rock Air Force Base, Dyess Air Force Base, Goodfellow, and Fort Bliss. Those last two are where they have decided to do it. Now, the only problem is these are not, of course, abandoned military bases. I'm sure there's a whole lot of work that could be done that these folks would be well suited to do. The problem I have is with Goodfellow. Goodfellow is a highly, highly secure Air Force Base. It is where we train cryptos. It is a military intelligence base. And I've actually spent time at both of these bases, both Fort Bliss and Goodfellow. And if they're just going to take the kids to Goodfellow, okay, I don't see necessarily a problem there. Might be because the area is so secure and so well secured that could be very well why they're going to do it. It's not your average everyday run-of-the-mill Air Force Base. Goodfellow, you get anywhere near it without a need to have to be there, you'll get shot. They won't even ask questions. You'll get one chance, and that's it. They don't play at Goodfellow. Fort Bliss is actually, I don't know, this has been a long time ago, where they train the Patriot missile crews and the anti-air crews down there on the border. Fort Bliss is actually literally right on the border with Juarez, Ciudad Juarez in El Paso, Texas. So that could be just an issue of convenience, that it's literally right there. You don't have to bring them into the interior of the country at all. Goodfellow is, of course, much farther in the interior, but it's still in Texas, so it's not too far. And highly secure, so I think that's probably why those decisions were made. But that video that I had showed you, that I had showed you the clip from, earlier in the previous 5 minutes of this, I had actually spoken about why I am actually for an increase in domestic military spending. Not a giant fan of military bases all over the world, but I would like to see the ones that exist inside our borders tripled, if not quadrupled. I would love to see every state in the Union have at least 2 active bases of some kind, if we're going to spend the money. And, you know, it can be something where, and I've said this before, you can watch this video too, I just reiterate this idea that when you have active duty military folks in civilian areas, like, for example, I spent time, of course, at the Presidio in Monterey as a linguist, and Fort Huachuca, we were kind of way out in the middle of nowhere. Fort Bliss, near El Paso, there's Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. And here, of course, in Florida, we have all sorts of military bases, Navy and Air Force and all this. You have this commingling of military personnel and civilian personnel in the community. And people get to know each other. And people learn to trust each other. And people learn to build relationships that way. And it brings something to society that I think society has lost since this fool's Aaron Clinton idiot era policy of peace dividend crap, shutting down a bunch of domestic military bases. And then standing up a bunch of secret little, camps all over the world to do their dirty deeds is a bunch of bullshit. I would love to, and we have 2 problems that could solve each other simultaneously. Seriously. You could bring these, let the migrants come, let them go forward order. We have all sorts of closed military bases. Put them on these bases. Put them to work. And this was the picture I showed of this rundown military base. And then simultaneously start standing these bases back up, do training. There's all sorts of training. We have lots of kids that are out of shape in America, just going to say it, that don't qualify for the military, given the state that they're in. Turn them into these types of camps where you can bring these people up to speed, and just do the very basic level boot camp stuff, where you instill in these young people, the idea of a schedule, the idea of not playing video games all damn day or staying on your phone all day, and you give them a mission in life. You give them something to do and make it simple. That you're there and you work with these people, teach them a language. You got all sorts of people down there that speak another language. There's nothing that hurts from knowing a couple of different languages. It doesn't demean your citizenship at all to know Spanish and French and Italian and English and maybe even Portuguese. And this way we can fix the problem. We can, instead of building a giant freaking wall, we can put these people in a secure environment, put them to work, give them what they want, give them work, and feed them, and take away the human workforce of the drug cartels in South America and Central America. Take it away from them. These guys need people. That's their big problem down there, is that they don't have a big enough workforce. And if they think that their people are going to go and just leave and take their stuff and turn the drugs over and come to America, and their guys aren't going to get their shipments, they're going to stop doing it because of the amount of money they're going to lose. The risk will be too great that these people will turn over all of this evidence and all of this, information that will point right back to them, and then they'll be able to stay. They won't, there won't be any reason for these people to be fearing going back. And we could fix this problem. And like I said, close foreign military bases to pay for it. Get our people out of places they don't have any business being. Get them out of Africa. Get them out of South America. Get them out of Colombia. Get them out of Asia. Rebuild the Fourth Fleet. If you want to rebuild our borders and rebuild our country, let's do it this way. Let's do it with the American people. And let's do it the way that it was done before. So, anyway, sorry, I'll step off my soapbox. But point being, we have some things going on we need to be paying attention to. And honestly, I think we could solve this problem with a third solution that hasn't been put out yet. So anyway, we will leave it there. Like, share, subscribe, and we will talk to you next time. Thank you.